Afternoon. We're welcome to the regularly scheduled September Board of Education meeting. We're meeting at the Dinner Road Educational Complex for the meeting today. We will be going immediately into executive session following a couple of announcements, and we'll come back at approximately 6 p.m. Under Section 3-305B of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Data Annotated Code, there is one reason why we'll go into closed session this evening to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction. Any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Specifically, the topic tonight will be 3-305B1, topics which include certificated staffing recommendations, update, consideration for tenure information, A&S Category 4 salary placement review, and staffing changes for school year 26-27. The reason these topics be discussed in closed session instead of open session is as follows. The personnel topics pursuant to 3-305B1 disclosed above will be considered in closed session rather than open session because it includes a discussion of specific employees, which is a confidential employment matter. Hearing all of that, are there any objections to going for the board to go into executive session? Hearing none, there's a motion to do so. So move it on. Second by Sadie. Discussion? All those in favor of adjourning to executive session, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And we are in executive session. Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled August Board of Education meeting, August the 11th. Thank each of you for coming. To get us started, I'd like for you to please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Also, would like to, as a moment of part of the moment of silence, we did lose somebody that was a very important employee at Garrett County for many years. Guidance counselor at Southern High School, Ms. Bev Sensel, passed away last week, and certainly remember that family in your thoughts and prayers. Appreciate that. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Ellie. Take approval of the agenda. So move it on. Second by Jane. Discussion? All those in favor of the agenda as presented for the public session, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And it is adopted. Motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
So moved by Sadie. Second by Don. All those in favor of the consent agenda as provided, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And the consent agenda is adopted. Once again, closed session summaries, announcements, etc. are on the board website. And I would like to say the hub that was put up on the website. What a great addition to the website. Mark, I'm sure you were very instrumental in that, perhaps with others, but I went through that this afternoon. That is the best thing we've done on that website in my 10 years being on the Board of Education. It is a wonderful site. You can find anything you might need to know, and it's easy to find. So thank you, Mark, for all that hard work. Our recognition this evening is a wonderful piece of art that we chose as our most outstanding selection this year, and that is going to be presented by Ms. Lowler.
Okay. Annually, the Garrett County Board of Education purchases one of the artwork pieces from the Student Honors Arts Fair. The superintendent, with assistance from the Fine Arts Committee, reviews all of the artwork at the event and selects a piece that shows creativity, originality of a depicted subject or theme, and includes quality of artistic composition and overall design. This year, the artwork chosen by the superintendent was a painting of a rooster on a 3D medium. The artwork was created by McKenna Wakefield in her Art 2 class. McKenna, an upcoming 11th grader at Northern High School, used acrylic paint for the rooster, set it above wire and wood depicting a chicken coop over a feed sack, and added raffia to depict straw bedding. To preserve the artwork, it was placed in a shadow box. The artwork will be displayed at Central Office in the Garrett Road Education Complex, along with other student artwork from prior years. This tradition has been a wonderful way to showcase the talents of our students and their great teachers. Congratulations to Miss Wakefield and her art teacher, Miss Melinda Yutzi. Miss Wakefield will receive a check this evening from the Board of Education for her artwork. Congratulations.
If you want to bring your whole family up, you guys all come up and get in a picture if you want to. You're more than welcome. Now, say this each time. You're more than welcome to stay, or you're more than welcome to leave. That's up to you. That's what I would do too if I were you. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Okay, let's move on to student achievement test results, the MCAP and the AP. Swarnick will make that presentation. Some great results.
Good evening. Tonight I will be providing an overview of our district's assessment results. This will include the Kindergarten Readiness Assessment, also known as KRA, MCAP English Language Arts and Mathematics for grades 3 through 8 in high school, MCAP Science for grades 5 and 8, as well as the advanced placement results. So let's begin with our youngest learners. In the fall, we administered a new kindergarten readiness assessment with 3 performance levels: beginning, developing, and established. The chart you see on the right shows the percentage of established students in literacy and math for each, county. In GCPS, 58.9% of students were established in literacy, which is above the state's 57%. For mathematics, 52.8% were established in GCPS compared to the state's 55.3%. Notably, the economically disadvantaged student group demonstrated strong performance with approximately 61% of students established in both literacy and mathematics. The chart, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
At what point in time is that test administered? When
Beginning of the year.
beginning of their kindergarten year?
Yes.
So it's a reflection of pre-K and the 4-year-olds, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yes.
Do you know how that? Is this a new test this year?
This is a new test
New
this
test.
year. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I could recall years that number was substantially higher. Substantially higher.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Brand new test, and we still have lots to learn about the results
Yeah.
of that assessment for sure. Yep. Yes.
I had the same concern. So my question is, if it's a new assessment, what does the professional learning look like, and how are we addressing that to ensure that we have an increase for this upcoming year?
So I can tell you that we do renew a training every single year for the actual administration of the assessment. In addition to that, we have our director of elementary and our coordinator of early childhood work with kindergarten and pre-K PLCs to go over the data results and talk about next steps. Ms. Ashby, do you have more to add?
Okay, sure. So this year, after we received the results, we were kind of disappointed at first. And then we decided to go to each school with those results, break it down by student. And then from there, we came up with a plan with how we were going to navigate through that. But I want to point out one thing before we go further. When you look at those results, one thing I want to point out, pre-K 3, you have to meet a certain criteria to be in it. So when we look at those economic disadvantaged students, we actually scored way higher than the state. So that's something that we did realize. Those are the kids that we are targeting there. So when you look at that for even early literacy, we scored 61.7%. And the state, however, only scored 47.2. So we are hitting the ones that we need to, and those, I'm sorry, the state was 44.3. And then with the math, we were at, with economic disadvantage, 61.3. And the state was, I have it on here. Do you have it up, Amy?
I don't have that.
Okay. And the thing is, the good news is we are hitting the kids that we are targeting. However, we still saw room for growth. So one of the things we did when we met individually at each school, we talked about, first of all, how did you give the test? We found out there was discrepancies. So we have a plan moving forward with that. Secondly, it was new. And some teachers we found they did better if it was a small group of 2 or 3 than some were doing 10 and 15 at a time. So practice moving forward, we're changing that, and it's going to be brought up this year, as well as the teachers are aware of that. One of the other things we said, the kindergarten teachers who were administering the test, they don't know the students coming in, and our pre-K teachers that we met with were like, well, we know they could do that. They would do that if we were the one giving the test. So we looked at even possibly switching the teachers. They give the test because they know the students moving into that. So those are some things in place. The other thing we talked about was how they run centers. So we had them actually go to a school that had very high rating. Accident Elementary scored above the state, like it was tremendous. Yeah, it was in the 90s. It was tremendous. So, and I have been in that classroom, and what they do with their center time is just, it's point on. And they're using the adults in the room and just rotating and individualized instruction. So the other schools asked, can we go see that? We made it happen. They went to that school, changed their practice moving forward. Some principals even asked for extra time so they could learn how to set up the centers in the same way. So centers are now more one-on-one and targeted to the students. So I truly believe that we are going to see a big difference this year.
That's great. Thank you.
So it'll be in September when they return.
Great idea of using the pre-K teachers to administer the test. Because, you're a kindergarten kid, it's your first week or whatever it is.
They don't
You're
know.
scared to death anyway.
That's it.
With somebody you don't know.
Correct.
And that alone, I think, would probably bump it 10 or 15%.
I give
somebody-
the pre-K teachers credit for that. That was some of the feedback they gave us that we changed.
Great idea. Yeah. Great idea.
Schools scores, and we don't have them here. I don't think the board's seen them, but you've looked at them, and you've obviously looked at what the schools that were doing really well, and that's a great way to help educate some of the other schools on best practices. So I'll commend you for that.
All right, moving on to English Language Arts. This slide shows a summary of all assessments for English Language Arts from grade 3 through high school. ELA proficiency for all tests combined varied from 32.9% to 69.9% across Maryland districts. Garrett County ranked 12th when compared to all counties. Last year, we were 13th. GCPS demonstrated the greatest growth across the state with an increase of 2.8%. Only 2 districts demonstrated growth over 2% from last year.
Is this the test that we have given before?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I need, in my mind, I need to know which ones are new and which ones are.
Yeah.
I would just also add on that one that our third grade ELA improved 7.2% over the last 2 years.
That's on
That's
the
a
next
s-
slide.
It
Dr.
is?
Miller.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm stealing your thunder.
You're stealing my thunder.
Didn't mean to steal your thunder, but I wanted the board to be aware of that
Yes.
statistic because it's in our strategic plan.
Yes.
And our goal was ultimately to get to 10%. We were over 2 years, but we did get to 7.2%. That's that third grade proficiency level growth, which is obviously a target area. That's a pivotal time in a child's learning is third grade proficiency. So sorry, I took
No,
your
that's
thunder.
okay. You can do that from time to time. It's
That,
okay.
that provides a great foundation.
What's that?
That creates a great foundation for,
Yes.
so
Mhm.
as students move forward, you know, the scores will improve with them.
Absolutely. The slide that you see on the screen has a whole lot of information to think about and consider. The top chart shows ELA proficiency for GCPS by test and by grade band. Each green box shows an increase over last year's performance. The last column in that chart shows Maryland proficiency. The largest gain from the previous year was on the ELA 6 assessment, which had a proficiency rate of 47.4 last year. This year, it's at 56%. Dr. Miller already shared the 2-year growth for ELA 3. ELA 6 saw the largest 2-year gain in proficiency, increasing by 12.7%. The bottom chart is where you can see the distribution of students among the performance levels. It's important to note the percentage of students in that level 2, so that's the performance level right below proficiency. Within that level 2 group, we had over 300 students within 10 points of a proficient score. That's out of about 1,700 total testers for ELA.
Questions?
So the assessment is changing from MCAP to M-STAR, and there are going to be some changes. Our ELA standards have gone through some minor revisions. Our mathematics standards have gone through some significant revisions. I do know that the spring administration of the assessments for ELA and math for grades 3 through 8 will drop down to 3 sessions instead of 4. The question around whether or not it's a new test remains to be seen. I do know we have actually had a GCPS teacher participate in content review for middle school math. And that process has been, let's look at the items that are in the bank. Is it aligned to the revised standards? Can it be changed to be in alignment with the revised standards? So I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of new items in the bank. They will probably be pretty familiar.
Just one question.
Absolutely.
Just remind me, level 4, what is level 4? If level 3 is,
Level 3 is the proficient level.
And
Level 4 is the distinguished level.
distinguished, so
Mhm.
that's important to look at that too. I think.
Absolutely.
19.3% in 10th. Wow.
Okay, so similar to ELA, this slide shows a summary of all of the mathematics assessments from grade 3 through high school. Mathematics proficiency for all tests combined varied from 12.1% to 48.8% across Maryland districts. Garrett County ranked 8th when compared to all counties. Last year, we were 9th. GCPS demonstrated the second highest growth across the state with an increase of 2.6%. Only 2 districts in Maryland demonstrated growth over 2%.
Those are, I said some great scores, but those are some pretty sad scores. I mean, they're just,
The growth is definitely important to recognize, but we still have work to do for
oh,
sure.
yeah, a lot of work to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. When you're looking at 12% across your system passing a math test, it's a lot of work to do.
So again, this slide has lots of information to unpack. The top chart again shows math proficiency for GCPS by test and grade band. Each green box shows an increase over last year's performance. and the last column shows the Maryland proficiency. I'd like to point out that while Math 7 data was relatively flat for GCPS, we are still above the state proficiency by over 5%. The largest gain was on the Algebra 1 assessment, which had a proficiency rate of less than 5% last year due to our change in the course sequence. When comparing results from the 23-24 school year, Math 6 improved notably over 2 years, rising by 6.5%, while Math 8 saw the largest 2-year gain in proficiency, increasing by 23.8%. The bottom chart again shows the distribution of students, and similar to ELA, we had roughly 20% of our total testers within 10 points of proficiency.
Those tests are given in April,
The spring, April, May.
May.
Mhm.
Does that, as you go through the school year, are you finding, or have you, I'm sure you've looked, does it correlate with what you would expect, or what we're seeing through the course of the year with the testing that we're doing? And does it look, do we as a system, do we as teachers at schools say, our school should probably be at about 25%?
I think you would probably get mixed responses from teachers. I think on the one hand, some students work very hard when it's time for testing, and I think sometimes they don't always work as hard on those summative assessments. So there is some motivation involved in those performances, especially we're finding at the middle grades.
And we're gonna, I guess, the obvious question is, what strategy are we going to develop to try to get them excited about taking
I
a
think
test?
that is always the challenge when principals work on their school improvement plans on how to show the most growth possible and how we can motivate students to do their best.
What I realize too, it's almost like having a football team. The team changes every year. So the group of kids you're testing every year is different. Because you're picking up some, you're losing some. You might lose up the best ones and
Yeah.
pick up the worst ones. So you have to take that into consideration. But,
Yeah.
And again, we're doing well when you look at the state, but looking at the state, we're not doing well.
Yeah.
The message that Here we go. There is still a lot of work to be done. The math test is it is a challenge across the state, and depending on what meeting you go to, I feel that there's pretty large recognition that there's some need for that test to be looked at in regards to alignment to standards and distribution of different difficulty assessment items and the psychometrics behind the assessment. So I am looking forward to seeing the results of what this new assessment will do for us to provide an accurate picture of what our students know in math. I would also say that we're looking really closely at our assessments and standards. We need to be teaching our standards, that we have new standards in math and ELA. We need to be focused on understanding those standards and making sure that our instruction is aligned to those standards with our high quality instructional materials and with evidence-based practices. Those things together will allow our students to make the best growth possible in alignment with teaching those standards and understanding that they know or they don't know those standards. We are really looking at assessments. That includes iReady, which I wasn't really anticipating getting too heavily into tonight. But that assessment may not be the best assessment moving forward for us to be able to really understand how students are doing and predict how they might do on the state assessment. But at the end of the day, if we teach the standards and we use high quality instructional materials with good instructional practice, we shouldn't have to worry about the test as long as the test is designed in a way that it's going to measure the standard.
Sure.
So that's what I'm hopeful for. So that would be my takeaway on that.
And you're right, the iReady may or may not be, going forward, the best indicator of how we're gonna do.
And the state is looking at providing us some, are they calling them interim assessments?
Interims.
Yes. So they're piloting that this year. And next year, I think more school systems will jump onto that. I think those may be very helpful to us moving forward, but we're still in the early phases of kind of understanding what that might look like and how to map that out in a way that makes sense for our teachers and students.
Okay, so on this slide, you will see MCAP science results for grades 5 and 8 over 3 years. While 8th grade science showed a slight decline, we are consistent with state proficiency. The largest gain was an increase of 5.7% on the grade 5 science assessment.
Questions?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of work to do in science.
For me?
I think we have a lot of work to do in the science.
Yep.
These are really low scores, I think.
We, just as a reminder, we did implement new instructional materials for science last year at the elementary level. And this year we are implementing high quality instructional materials, new resources at the middle grades as well.
Maybe that'll help.
On this slide, you will see an overview of our advanced placement results. This year, we administered 362 AP exams, with 80.1% of our students achieving a score of 3 or higher. This is an increase of 6.3% over last year's success rate. This year, we had 6 exams with a 100% success rate, while adding 3 exams, including research, which follows the seminar course we introduced last year. GCPS is seeing growth in both participation and success rates, with strong year-over-year gains in student outcomes.
Can you share more about the increase in participation? Like what? What does that look like?
More AP exams are administered this year than last year. So we had 231 students take at least one AP exam.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what was
Yes.
students?
Yeah.
Number of
Mhm.
students.
Yep,
231.
231, at least 231 students took one exam.
And we had this discussion earlier. Students don't have to take the exam, but if they don't take the exam, it affects their GPA, correct?
Yes, so we had 4 students that took an AP course that did not participate in an
4
AP exam.
out of 231. That's, when I looked at it, and I taught AP history, so I can speak firsthand how hard it is. It's hard. It's as hard on the teachers as the students, trust me. Because you're worried, I mean, you want them all to get that 3 at least,
Right.
and hope they get 5s. But though these are remarkable.
Yes,
I challenge any school system in America to show me that they've done better than this
Yep.
with the resources we have available to us.
absolutely.
They can't. I mean, that speaks volumes about how well we're doing. It really, truly does. And should save some parents a lot of money. A lot of money.
So that leads us to instructional priorities. This school year, we will continue to strengthen our multi-tiered systems of support through high-quality Tier 1 instruction, which Dr. Miller has already referenced, targeted Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports, and effective use of Panorama to monitor interventions and student progress. We will continue to build teacher capacity through collaborative PLCs, school improvement support teacher coaching, opportunities for school teams to share effective practices and improve student learning. We are committed to providing teachers with high-quality training and support in math and literacy using Read and Lead grant funding, professional learning grant, Title II, and MSDE partnerships. This work started this summer by examining revisions to math and English language arts standards in grades 3 through 8 and deepening our understanding of our instructional materials. This summer, we also spent some time exploring fraction concepts with math teachers and vocabulary as a literacy accelerator with our English language arts teachers. These priorities are in alignment with Maryland's focus on high-quality instructional materials, multi-tiered systems of support, and professional learning and coaching for quality instructional practices.
Questions, comments? Thank you so very much. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I get this thing to work. I'm having a challenge with this today. I did want to also share with the board that there is another data point that was recently released this spring that we did not actually put in this presentation, but you'll be hearing it more publicly coming soon. So it is based on the most recent reported data, which is 24-25, and it is indicating that 65% of our graduates met the CCR standard, which is 6th in the state when you look at the entire state, which is a tremendous achievement, thinking about our students and their next steps in college and career. Also, we have about 58.8% of our graduating class participating in dual enrollment, which was 4th highest in the state. So some pretty powerful statistics that are coming out in regards to our high school programming and what our students are participating in that I think are important for us to know and just celebrate, knowing that there's a lot of hard work starting in pre-K to get students to a point where they're able to engage in these higher levels of learning, such as the AP, such as dual enrollment, and we're clearly ranking very high in the state in what we're providing to our high school students.
I think it's what certainly what we want to celebrate and ensure that everybody has children in Garrett County realize that you're getting a lot for your money if your child's enrolled in Garrett County Public Schools. You're getting a lot. You're off that time.
There we go. It's important to keep in mind that these assessment results reflect a moment in time, and we are providing a quality program from pre-K 3 all the way through high school with lots of experiences. So I've had 5 children come through GCPS, and they're all thriving. So.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to social emotional learning, instructional materials for review. We got a packed audience there, Mr. Lewis. There you go.
So I appreciate the time coming, and I think it's a great opportunity to speak after looking at those academic results, because as we begin to look at our students and the welfare of our students, we see that there are certain needs that we're finding more and more as we move forward. And having a new social emotional learning tool or curriculum and Wayfinder is a great opportunity to be able to do that. Research is beginning to show, as of 3 years ago, that the more that we can care for our kids, the more they come to school. The old, if you reach them, you can teach them kind of thing. And we all understand that. This is just providing different ways for us to be able to move in that direction. So I'm really excited about it. We're really excited about it. And as we begin to look at it, probably one of the important slides for me was that very first slide, where we're able to provide this almost $160,000 cost at no cost to us at the Board of Education. We're fortunate to have great partners in the Garrett County Commissioners who receive an opioid abatement grant. That was then administered by the Health Department, another great partner. And so we made a proposal that that be part of this because we're addressing those adverse childhood experiences that our kids are having as a result of addiction and opioid crisis that we see. So we're very fortunate to have that and very thankful for their partnership. Thanks, Chad. As we began to look at it, we start casting a wide net. There are a lot of people now, you hear that a lot, social emotional, SEL. So you're beginning to hear that a lot. So there are a lot of companies and vendors getting into the space now. And so we wanted to make sure that we were showing fiduciary responsibility and getting the best product for our students that we could find. And so we began reaching out. We ended up actually going through a pretty extensive rubric with 7 vendors to look at what we wanted. At the end of that, we voted on, well, actually it was pretty clear after looking at the rubrics for the top 2. Top 2, we got demo sites, and all of us were playing around in the demo site, checking it out, seeing what was there, what wasn't there, and then we ended up settling on Wayfinder with our final agreement. And with that then, we began to move forward. It fits in really well with our Garrett County and our strategic plan. The efforts that all of us are making in our schools and in our communities to support our kids. And all of these priorities, again, are all in support of our the whole child and being able to support them. Okay, Jeff. And the adorable future-ready skills, one of the things that we're beginning to find out that I think has been around for a while that I began to understand that a lot of times, and I often share with people, and I don't want to mean this in any way, but when I go to hand my neighbor the key to my house because I'm moving away, so social emotional learning skills and that trust that we have in one another and in our community, and being able to have a curriculum that focuses on looking at everybody as our neighbor and being able to support them and care for them and move forward has been really important. As you begin to look at that and even look at some of the global outlook of job expectations up until like 2030 and beyond, of course, you hear a lot about AI. In the jobs report 3 years ago, AI wasn't listed. Now you hear a lot about AI. But then you're also beginning to harken back to the time about resiliency, flexibility, because people are changing jobs so often that you have to have a certain mindset to be able to jump in and to be able to learn and grow. And so Wayfinder focuses on 6 of those core attitudes to be able to move forward. So it was a natural, almost like a 2-for-1, in that now we have another college and career ready piece as well that we can incorporate into our social emotional learning. And then after approval to move forward, you see that, then we'll be able to put this out for the public to be able to begin examining. And it'll be in 2 places, physical places. I brought the workbooks tonight if anybody wanted to take a look at them later. But they'll be set, one at Ruth Enloe in Oakland and the other Ruth Enloe in Grantsville. But also then on the cover letter with this, and Mark will post it on our website, is a login where you can get to the demo site. So anybody from home could log in and then complete the survey that we also have attached there to give us feedback on that, because that's what we want. One of our criteria 2 main criteria that we were looking at. One, we really wanted it to be user-friendly, and because we often buy tools and curriculum that are not so user-friendly, and so they get kind of pushed to the side. We want to make sure this is used. And so that met that criteria. The other one was, we really wanted to make sure that there was nothing in there that was going to create a controversy for us. And we were very specific about that and asking about that. And all of them would answer the same way. We're hearing that from all of our districts, all of our states. And Wayfinder is among number of states. It's also in Texas. So when I think about that, I think about then Texas does a very hard review of their curriculum So when I think about that, then I think we're having that, and I've been through it up and down, and they're looking at very general skills, for example, not looking to teach any kind of ideology or any practice. So I'm really excited about that, to see that. But we have that, and with the board's approval, that's where we'll be moving to next.
Can you describe to us what this looks like, what this would look like rolling out and who this would be rolled out to?
Good question. Thank you. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that we're starting at where our first professional developments with all of our counselors and social workers.
Okay.
And then eventually we want to expand, hopefully by spring, start inviting teachers to become part of it, because these are they're very chunked lessons. I could, for example, as a history teacher, there are many things in there about decision-making skills and lost choices, for example. History's full of those. So I could pull out a 10-minute little lesson, and we could talk about decision-making skills and looking at those. So we'll be doing that. So we'll have people in every school building that will be able to then spread the knowledge of this program. And then we're going to eventually then continue to build that capacity as we move forward, because we really do want this in the classroom. And
So what's the age group for these resources?
it is K through 12. And the reason that we got the workbooks is that thank goodness for the grant, because we paid for the workbooks, the little extra. But I really wanted workbooks for K through 5. I wanted something for them to be able to take home, to be able to work with their parents, to be able to not look at technology, to be able to just have a conversation while you're sitting there, while you're working on those. So our students in K through 5 will have an actual physical workbook. And the lessons also go, because as we begin to look at how we're integrating and braiding all the resources that we have, it's a great compendium for Panorama. So Panorama's got to give us we just finished the first year of 3 administrations of Panorama. And I just requested our summary report from Panorama, and when I have that, I'll submit that. But that'll be interesting to see about how that is, because Panorama, the 2 pieces that I'm looking at are your sense of belonging, and do you have an adult in your life that you can talk to? So all those things are in Panorama. Wayfinder, Panorama will allow our counselors and social workers to identify and target small groups or individuals through Panorama, and then Wayfinder provides they're very, very good at providing the digital medium. So the little videos, the extra pieces that come along with this, they did not just get into this space. They started out as this particular program years ago. You can tell that. So we'll be doing that and be able to continue to move forward with that.
I have a question. I'm a firm believer in the belonging and all of the things that you talked about, but if you come across a student who doesn't have that one person they can talk to, what do you do then to help that child to feel like they belong?
No, absolutely. And everybody should. Everybody should have somebody, as we all know. And so, the old expression is champion. I talk about that a lot. In my playing and my coaching background, it was always somebody, right? You always have to have somebody. So we will marry somebody up and be talking with principals about that we don't want. And we've already had conversations with some administrators talking about who are the kids that you don't see. Like, for example, there are lots of ways to figure that out. In a previous school I was, we put every kid's name on a 3x5 in the one lecture hall that we had. And everybody had to go along and put their name on the kid that they knew. And by the end of it, then we found out that there were several kids that nobody knew, really. And so then we married them up. We matched them up with somebody that would find build that relationship with them. Because we can't just identify them and then leave them. That's their life, right? They know that feeling. What they don't realize is that somebody's going to be there every day. Somebody's going to be there to talk to you. Somebody's going to know your wants, your needs, be able to support you. If any hints of hunger or or you see the clothing that they're wearing, you don't make a big deal. You just make sure they have it. And yeah, so we're going to really move hard on that, making sure everybody has somebody.
And that's the reason why I love the community school model.
Yeah.
Because it takes in the family as well. But,
It does.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have something? Did you get your mic to work?
I think I was purposefully given the challenge mic tonight. I just wanted, for clarity purposes, make sure that everybody was aware that this is an informational item. We're not doing approval tonight. It will go out to the public for review and comment, and we'll bring those comments back at the next meeting for action.
One more.
Anything else? Anyone?
I have one more question. You said about the workbooks for the younger students. Is there also a digital component
There is.
for the younger? Okay.
Yes, there's both.
Okay.
And,
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. I've got one
I
more.
was prompted to
Okay.
make sure I share that the resources will be at Grantsville and Ruth Enloe Library
Yep,
and Oakland Library. Yes.
Yeah, we'll have-
Starting tomorrow, correct?
Starting tomorrow, we'll have
Tomorrow.
sets of workbooks
Yes.
and the cover letter with the link.
Yes.
And we can look at them on the website too.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, Mark will publish it.
Yeah.
Be on the hub.
Yeah.
No, we'll be on the hub. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, we have no public comment, it appears. We'll do the student member reports. So Ellie, all up to you.
All right, so starting out with our student council or Garrett County Association of Student Councils, I wanted to start by reminding everyone that we'll be hosting a pickleball tournament. The first tournament will be on August 22nd at Southern High School tennis courts, and the second tournament will be on August 23rd at the Northern Garrett High School tennis courts. Our executive board has been working hard on making sure that this tournament is going to be happening on these 2 dates, and that we're going to have a couple of different food vendors. And registration is still open, so if anyone wanted to register for this pickleball tournament, it is up on our social media. There's a QR code you can scan, and it leads you directly to the registration for that. The second item is that we're planning our first General Assembly in October along with our Hickory Retreat. I previously mentioned this, but we have since then gotten down a few more details about this General Assembly. So our General Assembly will be taking place in the morning for both Northern Middle School and High School students, as well as Southern Middle School and High School students and Student Council who want to come at the Hickory Environmental Center. And then we will be having our annual Hickory Retreat that day as well, where we would stay overnight and just do a couple of different team bonding activities with our student councils. And then lastly, for GCASC, we ran our food booth, the pizza booth, at the Garrett County Fair on August 4th to collect funds for the upcoming school year. At this booth, we collected our funds through the pizza that we were selling, but we also did sell a few of our discount cards that we have now. We have these discount cards that give discounts to local businesses, which we also sold there. And we also had a few people sign up for a pickleball tournament at this fair booth. As far as the SMOB initiatives and agenda go, last week I attended the Maryland Association of Board of Education training for all the SMOBs on August 6th. This gave me an opportunity to connect with SMOBs throughout the state and get to talk to them about what concerns they have for their upcoming school year and just kind of see our similarities and our differences between our counties. As well as I have also kickstarted a UNICEF club at Northern Garrett High School, which will be focused on raising funds for children in need all over the world. So I just wanted to share that because there's going to be a couple upcoming events where we'll be doing fundraisers where we're raising money to give back to UNICEF. And then a few miscellaneous items. Northern and Southern athletes, music students, and FFA students from both schools ran fair booths this previous Garrett County Fair Week from August 1st through August 8th to raise funds for their upcoming school year. And GCPS students also had a chance to have their artwork shown at the Garrett County Fair as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Anything for Ellie? Anybody? Any questions? Okay. All right, board member updates. Is there anything, for the good of the cause anybody is doing? Okay, it's all yours, Superintendent Miller.
All right, for updates tonight, several reminders. This Friday, August 14th, is the Potomac Highlands United Way's Stuff the Bus campaign at Walmart from 9 to 5 p.m. I will be there from 3 to 5, so please stop by and say hello. School supply donations will be collected throughout the day to help provide needed supplies for our students. On Monday, August 17th, we will be having the Backed by Community Resource Fair at the Garrett County Fairgrounds from 3 to 6. School supplies, fresh produce giveaways, community vendors, and more will be available for families at this event. And this event is open to all GCPS students and their families. On August 24th, staff will resume their normal operating schedule from Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. Teachers and 10-month employees return to schools as well on August 24th. And the first day of school is scheduled for August 31st, and a reminder that that will be a 3-hour early dismissal. As Mr. Woods noted at the beginning of the meeting, please visit the GCPS Back to School Hub on our website for everything you need for a successful start to the year, including information about transportation, food service, calendars, back to school nights registration, and school supplies. And certainly would like to commend all of the students for the work that they produced at the fair last week and all the organizations that worked together to make that a special event for everybody.
Anything for the superintendent?
Just wanted to point out that this week is tax-free week for buying $40 worth of backpack supplies for kids, so it might be a good opportunity to get those stuff the box supplies or stuff the bus supplies.
Anything
Also,
else? Anything else? No? Okay. Thank you. We'll take a motion to adjourn. So moved. Benoit.
Second?
Second by Sadie. All those in favor of adjourning public session, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. We are adjourned.